God known to each of us, provide the strength and wisdom to perform the duties and fulfill the responsibilities required by oath of office. May your actions be pleasing to God and meet the expectations of the citizens we serve. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Council members, you have the minutes for February 20th before you. I'll entertain a motion as soon as you've had a chance to take a look at those at your leisure.
Make a motion, we accept those presented.
Second. A motion and a second on the floor for the approval of February 20th minutes. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Before we get into public comments, I'll just say we do have a very light agenda tonight. We've had a number of purchases on the agenda, so our meeting won't be very long tonight. A number of updates and whatnot, but we will have a work session in the upcoming couple of weeks. So Rachel and I will get that out to you guys and try to get everybody coordinated for that. And I think probably again we'll do a day, not an hour or so before council meeting. So if we can do a day separate to have some time and not have to work right up to meeting time, that'd probably be the best way to handle a few things. Given what's going on project-wise, we're into spring and summer, so a number of updates from events and whatnot and projects coming up. So probably be better to do that on a day, not on council meeting. So we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Public comments. We do have a couple of folks signed in this evening. James Hightower from 127 Nelson Court. You have the floor, sir.
All right, I got two things. First thing is I want to say I talked to Anthony a couple of weeks ago. I had a couple officers on the street after midnight. The one night was they was on it about 3 to 4 times. The next night there's 2 to 3 shining and stuff like that. I called him to see if there's something we needed to be aware of. He said, no, they're just doing their job. I want to appreciate them for holding the area, especially at midnight, after midnight, because a lot of times people say that they're not out there, but they are out there. I mean, I vouch for it because they woke me up twice. So. But the thing is, I'm glad they did because I was able to reach out to Anthony and give them kudos. Second thing is I know the Little League come to you last year. They had a project that they had phases. The second phase is supposed to be lights on the minor girls field. They're being told, the girls are being told that they have to have metal poles. Is there something in the city ordinance can they use wooden poles? Because I know you all replaced the lights here at the Lions Club field last year and kept the wooden poles. Because they kept the lights off of the major girls and the major boys to put on the minor boys and the minor girls field. One of the softball parents works for TC Energy. Talked to AEP for probably donating the poles, and donating the time. Some of them donating their time to help run the electric. Is there an issue of them putting wooden poles out there?
I cannot say with certainty because I don't know. Having said that, I'll check back with the folks at AEP. We have a pretty good contact at AEP that we talk to on a regular basis, but also know that any project that comes through, and I know they've already got a master plan,
Right.
but anything would have to come from the president to say that they're doing their project. They said that they would give us updates on their work in increments as they were going to do it. So,
Well, I've got my understanding they were told they wasn't going to spend the money. They're spending the money. They want to build a building out there. They don't want to do the lights. They want to put it on the back burner. But that was phase 2 of their project.
right.
Then they want to take the money and spend it somewhere else.
I would say this to you. First of all, your first outlet is their board.
I've talked to some of the board members is what told me that.
Have the president initiate contact with us as kind of the protocol, and then I'll have Andre, our parks director, reach out to the president as well, so we can have some sort of answer to let the council know where things are at our next meeting. That's pretty simple to accomplish.
All right, and I know I texted you about them sending out about charging city members.
Yep.
Did you ever find out anything on that?
Well, they have the lease on the property. Now, for non-travel teams, the park board agreed, and I can send you those guidelines. But the park board agreed that they'd be charging non-Little League entities, I think is the way it's worded, and travel teams who have different kids on their teams.
But how about residents that are using it to donate? Because I donated $2,000 to 2 kids that had cancer. I run a tournament and donated it through the Legions. I ran it through the Legions, Donnie did my trophies.
Yeah.
in the
I'll send
fall.
you, if it's specific to you, doing the tournament, the complex, I'll send you the guidelines the park board agreed and the council had kind of ratified, because they're an advisory committee of the council. And so, as they suggest something, and on a permanent or fee-based schedule, the council is the ones to kind of ratify that. I'll send you those guidelines tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll make myself a note, and also, I'll have Andre reach back out to the president of the league as well.
Or like I said, I mean, because the thing is I think they're profiting, 80% to 90% of the people in the league don't pay taxes in the city. Donnie can, here's the thing is they're raising money and stuff. They made $70,000 on their session last year. If they wanna put metal poles out there, it costs $100,000.
Right.
So they got 70 from what they raised off their concession stand.
Yeah,
They
don't specifically report their finances to us. We support them in a number of ways, as you well
Right.
know, but they're not a responsible entity for us financially,
Right.
so we don't audit them, we don't get their audit reports or their financials. Having said that, we'll check on the poll issue to see what the easiest way to do it and what the AEP guidelines are. And I'll also have the president of the league have Andre reach out to the president about the pricing structure
Okay.
for rentals and whatnot.
And also, the city's still gonna pay Dixon to mow the grass,
Yes,
even
it's
though they're
all-
doing the league. Are you gonna charge the league for it? Because the grass got so bad last year at Jack McKenna's that it was an eyesore for the city.
Well, that wasn't included in our landscaping
Right.
and mowing bid last year because Jack, as you well know, passed away.
Right, because we also had a water leak that I ended up helping Mr. Porter find the valve, which is on
We took it
Nelson.
over holistically after the season last year, after Jack had passed away, so that is part of our landscaping and lawn care bid this year.
Okay, because that was because we had a water leak that was flooding the whole.
Yep, we took it over holistically from the Lions Club. Lions Club made a
Okay.
request, council voted on it to take it over, so it'll all be holistic in the hours this year. Yep, and I'll get you rental guidelines, and I'll also have Andre reach out to the president of the league, which you should probably also do through the board to come back to park board and the council. Thank you. Anything else? Anthony, would you make sure to his comments from law enforcement are passed along?
I will pass it along.
Thank you very much. Cherry Lewis, 1582 Highland Park. You have the floor, ma'am.
Flooding again,
Yeah.
and I just need to know what, if any, plans are there to help alleviate that flooding.
We do have a plan. I'll say this, you did not have one of your neighbors who would sign off on an easement
I know.
or a right of way. So they redesigned the project. The project is still on track. And as you well know, when our attorney was talking about that with the bid process and RFP, we were gonna be about this time. We were planning on doing that this spring. We got a February rain that typically doesn't happen.
Well,
Out of season, and I understand you're frustrated, but we also want to do it the correct way, as best we can. And the plan was to do it this spring. Even if your neighbor had signed off, we probably wouldn't have been doing it at this moment. We have really warm weather really early this year. So it was scheduled for a springtime project. But yes, we do have a plan to help alleviate some of the flooding up there. As you
Yeah.
well know, we can't 100% guarantee that
No,
it is
it
a
won't.
permanent and all-time fix, but it is on the schedule for us to address Highland Park.
well, we've had to protect ourselves with sandbags.
Right,
You know, because we can't do this again.
right.
This is a third time, and we just can't do it again.
Sure.
And I don't know what the plan is, other than what I had heard about a culvert going up up Highland Park there to the Sturgeon property. Well, how is that going to take care of the Lake Lewis that's in my backyard every time it rains?
That I can't answer. I'm not a hydraulic specialist. I can tell you that we're gonna alleviate as much of the water as we can, but you have to also remember that you're in a valley, and the runoff from I guess, for lack of a better word, the cutting of trees on the hillsides around you does not slow down water flow.
No.
So that makes it more
No.
difficult. And then if it's water coming off another property, and we've tried to do our due diligence in alleviating street flooding and that type of thing, you have a civil matter on your hands. And I hate to say that because I know you are frustrated, but we are gonna do our due diligence to try to take care of the street flooding and from where the point of water runoff into the street that gets into your houses, that we can, as best we can.
Well, I appreciate all the help that we can get.
Yeah.
Because it's just frustrating, and the older we get, the harder it is to get anything done.
Right.
And right now, what we're doing is we're just diverting the water. We've gotten a bunch of cement bricks or
Right.
blocks, and we kind of divert the water to get it back into a
Right.
channel. And
I think based on what we explained to you guys in the public meeting last year, when we talked about it, we talked about probably an 18-month or so planning period and fixed period. And our plan was to do a springtime project on Highland Park. We're still planning on doing that.
okay, and the pipe that's gonna be put in, is it the same size as what's already there, or is it gonna be bigger?
That one, I can't answer. I'm the mayor, but I did not stay at Holiday Inn last night. So, Danny, do you know what the size pipe is going up there
It'd
by?
be a 24-inch pipe,
And the current pipe is?
24-inch.
But are we going, is there a difference in what takes it out of there? Do we have failure on the pipe that's in there now? I mean,
Yeah, some of them are collapsed and rusted out, and we're gonna replace what's there.
Okay,
so
good.
But
So
we-
taking water out of your neighborhood new pipe will help with that. You have areas that are collapsed and water doesn't get through so well.
Yeah, well, you know, the water really comes off of the Sturgeon property,
Right,
and it just heads in our direction.
right.
And I don't know how we're gonna stop that. I mean,
I think our collection improvement will help that, and we came up with the best plan we could based on the neighbors being cooperative and doing what we needed to do. We'll continue to look at it, but our plan is in place, and we do still plan on having a springtime project.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And I talked to a number of your neighbors over the last couple of weeks. Don't feel like you can't call us. Call or text or come over anytime.
Well, I'm sorry if I call and I'm frustrated.
No, that's okay. That's what
You know,
that's what we're here for.
We're just mopping up water
Yeah, I understand.
every time it rains.
This
so.
past Sunday, I live on one of the highest points in Barboursville like you do. I had water in my basement, so I can.
Yeah.
I know you guys have been dealing with it for a while. We had I guess what you call a 100-year event. Probably it was a couple inches of rain in less than 2 hours. So we could have had larger pipes in anywhere, and it probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
carried it out. But we understand, and we want to try to help you guys, and that is still on our project list to do that. And we're still on track to do it in the time that we meant to do that.
Okay, I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for being here.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
call, text anytime.
Thank you.
Yep, of course. We do not have anyone else signed in this evening. We do have, the departmental updates are in your box. I just want to mention a couple things. Based off of the rainstorm that we did have that day, our storm team was out clearing, drains and drop inlets the entire day. It being such an early rain in February as we normally don't have. They were out, I think Rick, you or somebody who called me about a drop inlet in your neighborhood. They were all over town. They just took the day to take the truck out and clear those drop inlets out. The leaves we hadn't had any real wind, no spring wind to disperse leaves and whatnot. So they were out cleaning drop inlets and whatnot. But if there's anywhere else that needs addressed, they can come and get on top of that pretty quickly. We'll put it in the work order form. But we really didn't have any major catastrophes, knock on wood, for the rainstorm that they were out the very next day clearing as we got phone calls. And it was still raining, but they were out still clearing drains and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that we put that in the minutes to let the storm team know that we're happy and thankful that they were out and about that day. We did get several calls, and just as soon as something came in, they addressed those. Also, I know that the park is in use now, but it's still March 1st, and the cold is an issue. We haven't opened restrooms and done a number of things, but we started to open the park earlier in the last few years on the first day of spring or 1st of April, whatever the date was. But we're targeting April 1st to be completely open. Restrooms, water sources, and all that stuff open for April 1. Well, I think Brandy and Andre arranged for bathroom facilities to be out there in the interim, but because of the cold snap that we're still afraid of, we're not ready to turn some things on. We don't want to get anything damaged and have a freeze and pipes bust and everything else. Better to be safe than sorry. So April 1 is the day that we are targeting for full park opening. That being said, if there's no questions, comments, or otherwise on work orders, updates, or anything, and I'll tell you too that if there's a work order that needs to be done, Arthur, our new public works supervisor, based on workflow and things like that, we're going to introduce him to the leadership team tomorrow. And if there's something that needs to go in, Stephen is gonna be caught up on the work order system and whatnot. If there's something you guys wanna put in, get it to us and we'll get it in the queue. But what he's working on, what his concentration has been, is about getting work assignments, and I'm guilty of it too. You know, I think we're probably all guilty of it. We will call in when something comes up and it's not really an emergency, and that interrupts workflow. So that's one of the things that he's been really concentrating on, is getting work assignments by day lined out and not getting the work day interrupted, and doing those things in a form and fashion. And I think it's worked out in the several days that he's been here, but we'll get him familiarized with the workflow system. If you have a work order that needs to be put in that's not critical, you can text it to us, you can email it to us, and we'll get it in the queue. So, and we'll also make time to introduce Stephen to you guys as well. So we don't have old business or new business this evening. Just as a reminder, for the couple of things that we mentioned in council, we have a recommendation from the planning commission. We were gonna talk about some staffing things and whatnot, but also in our work session, we'll talk about event planning for the spring and summer. Those things will also be out on our app, and should be in your packets too, the dates of some of the things that Brandy has scheduled out, as well as the job list in your packets. So anything needs to be added, or if you know something community oriented that we'd like to put on the calendar, feel free to text or email, and we'll get those things on the app, on the text system. But all that seems to be going pretty well. Along with the newsletter, there's so many ways that we're getting information, and the sign at Farmdale Road. We've got so many ways to get information out to folks now. So if there's something that needs to be added, please let us know. One other thing that I'll tell you, just a quick update on, everybody's asking about the Target Center and whatnot. Repairs continue to be made. They have a plan for a permanent fix to the hillside, but again, it's a private development. Target owns their property, and they've continued to work with the neighbors on remediation for anything that's gone awry over there. But no one was in danger. They did a voluntary evacuation schedule, or evacuation notice, for a couple of houses over there. The only concern after the heavy rain was the runoff after they had started cutting the hillside back. But the plans for the hillside, I mean, I'm no geotech engineer, but they've assured us that they're going to rebuild and reopen right where they are, with some modifications for a grand opening. But that's our building department, our sanitary sewer guys, as I told you before, have been pretty well 24/7 on the job up there since that all happened. Our own utility, they had sanitary sewer service within 2 hours of the second break and the second hillside slip, but they didn't suffer any loss of utilities. Electric company, our sewer public utility, water company, were all, as soon as they could, they got repairs done so that Target could get in there and go back to work. But their plan is to reopen, contrary to any internet rumors you might have heard about them moving. They're not moving, and they will be reopening in the same spot. So that being said, we're at the end of our agenda, and we will go to council comments. Donnie, you are first to go, sir.
Okay, I don't have much, just like to thank everybody for being here. Do you have a update on the lagoon, progress on the lagoon or anything like that?
Yeah, every sanitary board meeting, we have the engineering firm come. Right now, there was a holdup with some easements and right-of-ways from people on private properties where utilities already run. And those are not in the city limits, but it requires us to go through there where current utilities already lie. And there was one person that we did not get, two people we did not get a hold of, two that we did not get a hold of. So there is a process in place through the DEP and our inside council to get that moving for the sanitary board. We're still on track with how that project's supposed to work in phases. I'd love to see us decommission those lagoons tomorrow and be able to market that property. But again, it's from start to finish, 18 to 24 months, obviously, but there were some holdups with the rights of way, but everything else, as far as the project goes, we're on time with the schedule.
I just haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah. Basically, it's all about running that main for our inflow to where we're reserving capacity for treatment.
Okay.
Yep.
I got one other thing, and that's, I'm looking at the CVB park list, And it seems like, the second year in a row now, the haunted trail's been omitted or not included in the list.
Can you tell
It
me the
ends,
dates that?
it ends, well, it's gonna be 10 days this year, but
Okay.
it just, if it, just lists, October, because there's nothing listed on
Yep.
October.
We can do that.
Just do that.
Also, Melody, just an FYI, Melody Fry texted me today, they did their haunted kind of history walk.
Yeah.
She wants to talk to you about incorporating,
Sure.
so I'll get you guys.
Yeah,
in
we
touch
talked
with her.
about that as well,
Okay.
working with them.
Yep, I'll get you in touch with her, she specifically asked today to talk to you. It's-
Oh, wow, okay.
Timing was good.
Scary.
You asked that question, yeah, scary.
That's all, I thank you.
Thank you. Patrick.
I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for the concerns. We love to hear about it, whether it's negative or positive. Definitely want y'all here. And these problems affect more than just you all, so you're speaking up from a lot more people. We understand that. So keep bringing us information, good or bad, and bring things up. It's the only way we can make things better around here. As far as we were talking about work orders and trying to keep things planned in order, does our app or does our online program allow for a citizen to put in a work order request?
It just allow for them to work or no.
Is
It
there,
would be us.
okay,
Here
you're
at
still,
City Hall
they
have
still
to
have
do
to
that,
call and
yes.
request, so.
And mostly because if we get a request, we go and look at it to make
It's
sure
more viable, of course.
feasible financially and for the benefit of the majority.
I just don't know, it's just something, another way for people to access us though, is maybe, if it's a possibility technology wise, for them to, instead of a phone call to us and catching somebody here on the phone, maybe it could be, it doesn't go straight to that department, but it goes to someone that can
Your
check it.
emails are
Yes,
online
sir.
too, just so you know.
Okay.
They can email every one of you basically
Right,
right off the
right.
website.
So just a thought, maybe just another tab on the app, say request, so it's not truly going to the department, it's more could come through us and we can verify, just another way to be in the technology field here. And then an update on the antique building being torn down and the parking, where are we sitting on that now? Is the first phase done, the company is,
Oh, yeah, they were done in a day and a half.
All right, I
Everything
thought
else
they
has
were
been
done,
done from
but-
now on, from then to now, has been our crews.
so we're just looking to pave eventually?
Yeah, and when they had everything uncovered, as you all know, the library had its own set of issues. When they uncovered some things, their foundation drains weren't connected. So out of courtesy, obviously, we connected the foundation drains in the places they uncovered. We still have a couple of things to do with respect to runoff to make sure that we're not putting water onto them, but it's basically about them getting the parking lot ready now. Anything else before then, Danny?
We had a newspaper ad today for the paving
Okay.
and also for that parking lot and then also part of Brady Alley.
Spring paving projects?
Yes,
Okay.
just those two projects
Okay.
altogether.
And then while we're talking about gutters and sewer upgrades and everything else, where do we sit on that program that we did the study on to make sure how much flow is going into sewers it shouldn't be? Where do we sit on that phase of
Chris,
not
the sanitary
notifying?
board talked about that, and they're starting a discussion about how to notify those people that were identified as putting gutter and runoff into the sanitary system now.
So notifications next.
Notification is next.
And then there's a time frame for them to fix.
Yep.
Okay.
And it all has to do with the MS4 stormwater runoff and the guidelines, so.
Right. And that's gonna save us money in the long run.
It'll
once-
be less.
How much we send
Yeah, it'll
for
be
the
less,
treatment.
less water treated,
Right.
because you're treating rainwater, which is essentially clean. It should go into a storm sewer, or, as some of those guidelines call for, you put gutter extenders out and let it run out into your yard, instead of putting it into the sanitary sewer system.
That's all I've got.
Thank you.
I don't have much, but just thank you guys for each and every one of you coming out tonight, and we appreciate it, but, I don't have a whole lot going on tonight.
Your neighbor's good then?
Everybody's
You
good.
got
Thank
them
you very
taken care of
much.
up there on the
Taken care
storm
of.
the other day?
Did well, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, everybody did well on that. She texted me back and thank you very, very much.
Good.
As always, I'm just, proud of our employees here, from the street people that get out all hours to make sure that, they can stop as much of Mother Nature as they can. And, you know, we are being proactive about Highline. We as city council, you know, we want to do as much as we can to get those problems resolved for you all. I know it's a heartache every time it rains, and, I'm so sorry that it's happened again. Thank you for coming and acknowledging the police working in those night shifts. yeah, they think the night shift's just sit around in the car and do nothing, but.
Free coffee, right?
Yeah, yeah, but, seriously, thank you for coming and, bringing it to everyone's attention that, the night shift does work. Thank you.
All I wanna say is thank you for coming, to the meeting tonight and bringing your concerns. We are very sorry that everything's happened, and we're, you know, I agree with Nisha, we, as a council, are really hoping to get that taken care of soon. Thank you, Mr. Hightower, for being here, appreciate it. I do have a couple of things, I wanna ask something to what Patrick brought up about the antique building. What is the purpose of the block wall that we have, that we built up there?
Keep the parking lot caving in on the old library,
Okay, how many,
retaining wall,
okay, that's what's a big thing.
Yeah.
yes.
So how many spaces are we gonna get out of it?
Well, we're actually gonna do some modification on the front side too,
Okay.
up near the brick wall, so the number of places after we draw it out is TBD, but we'll get a significant number over there. And also, just so the council knows, the village caregiving folks, after they're finished with their building project, the parking lot that used to be ours is gonna be an open public parking lot after business hours, after 5 PM. They're gonna open their parking lot up as well. The space where VTOL law office has been purchased, and the new owners have approached me about a number of things, including part of that being downtown parking as well.
Good.
So it should help, all of those things together should help alleviate the parking need, because the post office allows after hour parking, the bank and church parking lot that are co-use also allow people to park there as well, so,
Okay, excellent.
yeah.
Danny, on paving list, for streets, will you have anything for us, or we just not gonna be doing paving this year other than the two we talked about?
Yeah, we'll be doing that, I've got several on the list already for the pavers to look at.
Okay, I got a couple of sidewalks now that it's warm, we walked yesterday, that I'll send you the addresses that I think needs to be
Okay,
taken care of.
all right.
Thanks Randy for the updates, that really makes, I mean, it's a lot, but
It is, yeah.
it's good that we know what's going on. Thank you.
Also, from that side, I don't know if it's on there, I didn't look, I think it might be, yeah, Picnic with Pops is in June this year.
Okay.
So it's on June 15th at the amphitheater. They renewed their program for us, but it's in the first month, not the second.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
I don't think I have anything, other than thank you all for being here, it's good to see everybody, and, it's been nice to see everybody out enjoying the last couple of days, and I'm looking forward to spring here in Barboursville, and as you all can see, Brandy has a lot of stuff planned coming up, and it's just exciting to be here, and, that's about it, but thank you all for coming this evening.
Anything else, guys, department heads, do you have anything? Testing for you guys is next Saturday, March 9th. So there's police department testing to come about. So we'll be looking at extra officers for the hiring process here in the short term as well. If there's nothing else to come before the council, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you everybody for coming.